Welcome to my spring gear loadout. This is my 9.5 pound spring load. And I do just want to say that by the time you're watching this, it's definitely officially summer, but the temperatures around here have not been quite summer-like at night. Today, it's ballistic. It's so hot. I was going to do this outside, but between the bugs and the heat, forget about it. But by the time I go on the trip that this is packed for, the temperatures will be 80s during the day. It'll be somewhere in the 50s at night. Not exactly sure how low in the 50s it'll be. So I'm definitely bringing something that's more aimed at more aimed at spring than summer. And really the only big difference is the sleep system. So there's a bunch of extra weight that I would have with the sleep system that I normally wouldn't have in the summertime. I would go a lot lighter in the summertime. I will also say that depending on the temperatures, if it does drop into the lower 50s, I will throw in an extra quilt, and so that would add another pound, a little bit more to the overall base weight. So it would bring it up a little bit more than 10, just to be fair. This piece of gear that everything is being carried in, I don't think has ever been shared in a video before. This is my Kelty Yukon backpack. Yes, it is a external frame backpack. Have you ever seen one of those, kids? And I'm thinking about doing a whole series of videos on the external frame backpack. I'll just leave that right there and leave that alone. All right, so let's start digging through. Things aren't exactly how they would be packed. I kind of threw it all in just so I can get a weight for it. And again, it came out about 9.5 pounds. So starting... So this is, and I'm not including any stuff that I would be wearing. This is just what would be in my backpack. So this is the shirt that I would put on when I get into camp. Definitely this is the time of season where I will bring that second shirt because it's just so hot and be sweating so much. I want to take off the shirt that I was hiking in, rinse that off, let it dry overnight. And even if it doesn't dry, it's fine putting it on the next morning. It's going to be so warm. And I'll go with something with this synthetic at night. Another great topic for the video would be, do you really need the synthetic in the summer to hike in? I personally don't want to hike in the synthetic in the summer because I want to stay cool. And the synthetic shirts are made to wick the moisture away, which means the moisture is evaporating from the surface of the synthetic shirt and not your skin. So wearing the cotton shirt while I'm hiking will actually keep me cooler. I'll be wetter, but I'll be cooler. I know you're thinking, I'm already cool enough. How much cooler can I get? Well, you should see my shirt. Maybe I'll show it to you on my next hike. Next thing. I will throw my food and stuff into a pack liner. I don't have that put in right now. I have 2 bug sticks. I forgot the name of this brand. Maybe I'll do a silly little video on these. This is not typical backpacking gear. But this is the season where the bugs are so bad. I don't know what you have around you, but this is black fly, mosquito, deer fly season all mixing together along with the little midgy little no-see-em bugs. And this is like they all come together at this point in Connecticut, and it's just nasty out there. It's so nasty that if it actually stays this hot and this heat wave continues, I'm skipping the trip. But I'll bring a couple of sticks and light those up and hopefully keep away as many bugs as possible, because especially by the time I go to sleep, I don't like to be lathered up in any kind of bug stuff. To go along with that, if I can pick the right pocket, nope. So when I go into camp, I have a bug net, and this is not the bug net for my hammock. This is one of those, it's like the bug net that you would wear, or you would put up like under a tarp, or if you're just sleeping out under the stars and you just needed something to protect you from the bugs. So it's kind of got a high point on one end and it goes low, shaped somewhat like a triangle. And so I will put this up when I get into camp, and that's where I can eat my dinner underneath this, because I'm not going to eat it in my hammock. And so I can kind of still get some breeze and see the wilderness while eating underneath this. So again, that's just a very lightweight little bug net. All right, nothing in there. And this pocket right here, I have my Frog Tog rain poncho. And what's kind of funny is that I'm on a roll with this poncho. I have never had to wear this poncho in my entire life. I've owned it for maybe 3 years. So anytime I've brought it on a trip, it's never rained. If this weather does break with lots of thunderstorms, I will go umbrella, but otherwise this will stay in my pocket. All right, what else? This is my bear bag for my food. Nothing special about that. Whoops, I actually had an extra shirt in here. This is I have a video. This is one of the first videos I ever did on this channel. This is the shirt that I'll end up bringing. I kind of shocked myself when I brought this out for the video and I pulled it out. I wasn't expecting to see that shirt. This is the shirt that I'll bring. This is a Vargo titanium infused shirt. This is a fantastic shirt. Now, I don't know if you can kind of see. Kind of looks brand new, right? I don't even know how many years old this is. This is about 3 years old or something like that. This thing has gotten so much dirt and food and everything else spilled on it and stains. And it's the titanium in it. Something about reacting with the sunlight and it disperses the particles that make the stain. So the shirt looks like brand spanking new. It doesn't stink at all. Like I can't really remember a time hiking with it in which it actually started stinking. But again, that's what I'll put on when I get in camp. There we go. These are my hummingbird straps, my hammock straps that are made by Hummingbird. And I have an extra pair of socks for at night when I'm in my hammock. I'm hiking in zero sandals, so I won't need any socks during the day. And these are just for being in the hammock. All right, so all of my food will go up there. And let's go over here. That is my cold soak container. And it's empty right now, but whatever my first meal is, I will hike out with my first meal in the cold soak container. This is my pocket of all little stuff, little random things. So I have my bear bag line. It's the Larson bear bag line. You can check out a video for that on this channel. I have my water filter. This is a Hydro Blue. Looks just like the Sawyer Squeeze. This is kind of an older one. I don't know, this company evidently, they lost the competition to Sawyer, and so pretty much the only brand people know of now is Sawyer, but this is Hydro Blue. I've had great success with it. Nothing's ever broken. I have an extra insect repellent, just in case it's so nasty that I'll kind of spray myself while hiking, or definitely do my hats. I have my Gossamer Gear bamboo spoon. I have my toothbrush, and for those of you that drill holes in your toothbrush, when you're drilling holes, I think a lot of times you can, stuff can get, when you're holding it with your hand and it's dirty. Some of the stuff that I've drilled the holes with in the past kind of collects dirt in there, and you got to be careful. So I'm now just going bamboo toothbrush and shaving it down. I also don't like the half toothbrushes because, I have big hands, and trying to hold a little bitty toothbrush. And so, bamboo toothbrush, they're very easy to carve. And by carving it, I saved 13/10 of an ounce or something like that, huh? I am not leaving a link to the description for this particular brush. I will leave a link in the description to other bamboo brushes. But this particular brush, I bought a big package of, and the bristles are higher than normal bristles, which makes you hold your mouth open slightly, which makes you drool when you brush your teeth. It's not a good scene. I have some random Band-Aids. I have a lighter. I have hand sanitizer. I have my knife, which is just a razor blade with a piece of duct tape over it. I have my chapstick, the little squirty one. No need to bring an entire stick of chapstick. I have my flashlights. I have Body Glide, which, I've never actually used this. I've decided to stick it in only because it's a 4-day backpacking trip. It's going to be really hot. I don't even know what chafing is. When I read about chafing, when I hear about chafing, I don't even know what it is. I don't think I've ever gotten it before. But I figured I haven't been out for a while, and it's going to be 4 days, so why not just throw that in? I have, you might not have heard of these. Instead of there's two things that are disgusting around campsites. I'm going on the Appalachian Trail. One is when you find toilet paper, and the other is when you see like that toothpaste that's been spit out. You know what I'm talking about? You've been out enough, you know what I'm talking about. I just find it so gross. And I guess people just think they can spit their toothpaste because it's just going to evaporate or go away with the rain or whatever. First of all, you don't need toothpaste, but these are, I don't know what you call them, toothpaste tabs. And so you bite it and you kind of dissolves in your mouth and you brush your teeth with it and you can just swallow the stuff. You don't even have to spit it out. But there's nothing nasty in there like toothpaste, you know? If you're still using toothpaste, check out the ingredients, man. It's nasty stuff in there. I have my bidet, and this is just kind of in here to kind of remind me to put in my other bidet. This is not the bidet that I will be bringing on the trip. This particular trip, I will be bringing a bidet that is from a company called Holy Hiker, and I am going to have a whole video on that bidet. Look forward to it on another day because it's so much better than this one right here. So that's that. All right, that's empty. And last but not least is two things. I have my tarp for my hammock. This is by, what is it called? Simply Light Designs. I've never, again, this is kind of like my poncho here. Only once have I ever had to put it up for any amount of rain. So I can't really tell you how it would be good in any kind of like huge thunderstorm or multi-day, rain event. So generally I bring it, but I don't even put it up. And last but not least, this is my sleep system. So I have a hummingbird hammock inside of here, and this is my shell. It's made by a company called Khione, Khione. This is something I purchased off of Kickstarter, and you've never seen me do a video on it because, well, there's some issues with it. I love using it. So far, it's been great. I don't know if it's been like 2 years or so since I've been using this. It was, again, bought from a Kickstarter campaign. This was one of the first like 150 that they produced. So there's a lot of very small craftsmanship problems with this. As of this moment, it hasn't added up to presenting itself as a problem. But there's definitely some spots in the stitching that are a little wonky. There's some spots with some of the coating that aren't perfectly even. Again, if I slept in this with my eyes closed, I'm not going to be noticing any of those differences, but just in the back of my head, I know there's some craftsmanship problems with this. And again, this is the first model off of the line. I'm hoping they've worked out all of those kinks for the next one, but so far so good. It comes with the built-in underquilt, so it's got the what do you call it? The underquilt is built in. It's all zippered up, but if you can see through the zipper, it's got a reflective interior, special material, so that you stay warm. And again, as of right now, if it gets into the lower 50s, into the 40s, this is perfectly fine with like a light quilt. I was out at some point in the last month and a half or so, and it got into the 40s, and I think I just had my very lightweight summer sleeping bag, which is kind of like as heavy as this quilt, and I was more than warm enough. And so once it gets into the 60s, you can kind of ditch the quilt. And obviously, once it gets up into the 70s, most hammock people are ditching all of that insulation. I'll put in a thin gossamer pad and a sleeping bag on top, and I'm good to go. But so far, this has been great. I love just throwing it up, and there's no real adjusting of underquilt, overquilt, or anything like that. If I do need some extra stuff, I just bring it in and throw it on top of me, and I'm done. It does get a little wet if everything is zippered up. So there was one day over the winter in which I brought this, and I really had to keep things zippered up except for a small hole. and there was some condensation inside, but you know, no more than if you were in some kind of single wall tent or something like that. So it, you know, obviously I kept it open and dried it, and that happened quickly. So that is my gear loadout. That is 9.5 pounds of gear. That is with the external frame pack included and all sleeping and everything else. The food that I will be adding to my trip, I just weighed it. It's a 4-day trip, but it ends up being, you know, because I'm only taking like lunch and dinner on my first day and breakfast on my last day, it ends up being three breakfast, lunch, and dinners. That adds up to 6 pounds. And how much is a thing of water weigh? What's a maybe about 4 pounds or so. So when you add it all up, my total weight will be 20 pounds for a 4-day backpacking trip, and that's pretty good, right, for this time of year? All right, so if you have any questions about any of the gear, please leave it in the comments. Depending on when I post this, it might be before I go on the trip, which means if you have a question, I'm not going to be answering it for a while. But if it's after the trip, I'll get right back to you. All right, thank you for watching.